For the next 7 days, I'm gonna be training my brain to see if I can improve my IQ.
Because I want to find out if brain training actually works or if it's a scam. So the first thing is to measure my IQ and some other metrics.
In this IQ test, they give you a grid with some options, and you need to pick the option that fits the grid the best.
I got an IQ of 138, that's pretty good, but let's see what I can get after 7 days of brain training. Now let's test some other metrics, like my reaction time, my sequence memory, my number memory, my verbal memory, my visual memory, and the chimp test. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so here are my scores. On the reaction time task I got 211 milliseconds, on the sequence memory task I got to level 12, on the number memory 8, the verbal memory 45, the chimp test 10, and visual memory 10 as well.
Now it's time to get started with the brain training. So this is day 1, hour 0. To train my brain, I'm gonna use a site called cogniva.com. It's based on the MBAC task, which is proven to increase IQ. And the general idea is that you have a screen where a square appears in a random position every second, and your task is to press the button whenever the square appears in the same spot as Sam turns back. If you want to learn more about the game, I recommend going to cogniva.com and doing the tutorial. The website is free and open source, so don't worry, because you're not gonna have to spend any money. I'm gonna play 10 games a day, which is around 15 minutes every day for 7 days. Alright, I just finished my first training session. The average level was 4.4, so let's see if I can improve it in the following sessions. Now I'm gonna have some sleep because it's important to rest between sessions. So I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow before doing my second training session. Welcome back! This is day 2 of training my brain for 7 days to increase my IQ. I'm feeling pretty good and pretty confident that I can beat yesterday's record of an average level of 4.4. Let's see if I can maybe get to an average level of 5. So yeah, I don't have a lot more to say, so let's get started. My second training session went pretty well. I was a bit tired because I did my training session at around 7 PM, so I had a bit of trouble staying focused, but overall, I think I did a good job. Alright, so this is it. I got an average level of 5.8, which is way more than what I expected. So pretty happy about that. I mean, the session went pretty well. I'm sure my IQ increased a little bit, but we're gonna see that on day 7, so you'll have to stick around till then. Day 3 of training my brain till I increase my IQ. The third day also went very well. I did the training session in the morning, so I definitely felt that I had a lot more energy, and it was a lot easier to focus than on day 2. However, my level didn't increase as much as I expected, even though I felt great. I don't really know the reason behind it, but probably I just had a bad day. Let's see if the next day goes better. I got an average level of 6, which is slightly better than yesterday. Day 4. Day 4 I was feeling amazing. My brain was sharp and I had a ton of energy. However, the same thing as the day before happened. Even though I felt great and everything was on point, I couldn't increase my level as much as I hoped to. Having 2 bad days in a row was starting to get into my mind. This made me less motivated and I started to think that I was hitting a plateau, but I still had 3 days to come back. And I don't want to spoil you, but the last few days went way better than I could have ever expected. I got an average level of 6.4. This is day 5 of training my brain to increase my IQ. It's getting pretty repetitive and pretty boring, not gonna lie, but
I've got to put in the work to see if I can manage to increase my intelligence. I also feel like my progress is kind of hitting a plateau, so I'll let you know at the end of the session if I manage to increase the average level. So yeah, let's put in the work and get into it.
The fifth day, I was at an all-time low. My motivation was completely gone and I was starting to contemplate quitting the challenge. At this point, training felt more like a chore than it felt like a game. But I locked in and kept pushing because I only had a few days left to finish the damn challenge. I didn't know it at the time, but the last 2 days were gonna be the best days of the challenge.
Alright, so this is it. My average level slightly increased. I got from an average level of 6.4 to an average level of 6.5, which is a 0.1 improvement, which is pretty low because, as I said, I think I'm reaching a plateau and the game is becoming quite boring because it's always the same thing over and over again and there's like no variation, so the game isn't really fun. And also the fact that I'm not improving as fast as on day one is making me less motivated. But I'll keep grinding these 2 days that I have left and we'll measure my results. So see you guys tomorrow. Day 6 of training my brain.
Day 6 started at my lowest because in the last 3 days I made barely no progress. You can feel it in my voice how exhausted and unmotivated I was, but surprisingly, this was gonna be the best day yet. I performed extremely well, pushing my records farther than I could have ever imagined. This is exactly what I needed. Training started to feel like play again, and I was super excited.
My average level was 7.2, which is quite an increase from yesterday. I thought I was hitting a plateau, but maybe I wasn't right and I was being just a bit pessimistic. Anyways, this felt great and I feel smart again because I was getting quite demotivated. So see you guys tomorrow for the last day of this challenge. I'm sure I've managed to increase my IQ by at least a few points. Today is day 7 and last of training my brain to increase my IQ.
The 7th and last day was very promising. I was sharp, motivated and energetic because the day before I managed to break all my records, and this made day 7 the best day in the entire challenge. I performed better than any other day by a huge margin. I felt superhuman and my scores were there to prove that I was. This was one of the happiest and most fulfilling days I've had. Just listen to my voice after finishing the training session. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was astonished.
Alright, so I'm done. I've done surprisingly well. I got an average level of 11, which is absolutely crazy because yesterday the maximum level I got was 8. And today I've got an average level of 9 and I've even reached level 11. Like, I don't know what the heck is happening, but I've suddenly become so freaking good in the last few days. I thought I was hitting a plateau, but maybe what happened is that I needed a bit of rest. I'm so hyped up, man. I'm even considering bumping this challenge to 30 days because I feel like I'm just getting started, even though the day before yesterday I thought I was hitting a plateau. Time to take an IQ test to see if 7 days of brain training are enough to increase my IQ. I think I'm gonna have an even bigger improvement than what you're thinking right now. But first, let me measure the other metrics to see if I got an improvement on that as well. So let's finish the tests. Alright, so on the reaction time task on day 1, I got 211 milliseconds. And today, on day 7, I managed to get a reaction time of 210 milliseconds, which is a 1 millisecond improvement. Not much, but my expectations weren't very high for this task. Alright, so on the sequence memory task, last time I got 12. And this time on day 7, I've managed to get 14, which is a 2-point improvement. It's pretty good. On the number memory, last time I got 8 numbers and now I've managed to remember 10 numbers, which is awesome and a lot more than I expected. For the verbal memory test, last time I remembered 45 words, and this time I only managed to remember 25 words. I don't know what happened, maybe it's that I didn't get enough sleep, but it's pretty bad. However, the form of brain training that I've been doing, it's not focused on improving things like verbal memory, so I'm not too worried about it. Probably I just got unlucky, or I don't know what happened really. I'm done with the gym test and I got 10, which is the same as last time. For the last test, which is the visual memory one, I got 12 tiles, and on day 1 I got 10, so it's quite a good improvement. But now it comes the fun part. Now it comes the part you've all been waiting for. The IQ test. Did I manage to increase my IQ after 7 days of brain training, or is brain training just a scam? We'll find out after I take the IQ test and see if I managed to increase my IQ by training my brain for 7 days. So without wasting any more time, let me take the IQ test.
This challenge has been pretty fun and exciting. I've had my ups and lows, but ultimately what matters is that I stuck with it and I didn't fail myself. No matter how hard it got or how unmotivated I was, I kept grinding. If I want you to take a lesson out of this video, is that perseverance is the most important trait, and that, as you'll soon find out, hard work is always fruitful.
I just finished the IQ test and the results are pretty crazy. Just as a reminder, on day 1 I got 137 IQ, and today on day 7, after 7 days of training, I've got an IQ of 142. So brain training definitely works, and if you want to increase your IQ, I would give this type of brain training a try, because increasing your IQ by 5 points in just 7 days is amazing.
A 4-point increase might not seem like much, but remember that IQ is measured as a normal distribution. So going from an IQ of 138 to an IQ of 142 is equivalent to going from the 99.4th percentile to the 99.8th percentile. To put these numbers into perspective, the 99.4th percentile of net worth in America is $7 million, while the 99.8th percentile have a net worth of $15 million. This just goes to prove that brain training does work and that you should start training your brain today.